The Ryan and Rush Show is brought to you by Vision Homes. If you're looking to build a home in North Central West Virginia, visit askvisionhomes.com. Vision Homes, building you a house you're proud to call home. And don't forget to subscribe to the Ryan and Rush Show, but don't take our word for it. Take Coach Nealon's.
Hi, this is Coach Don Nealon, and you're watching the Ryan and Rush Show. Please subscribe.
And we welcome you into another edition of the Ryan and Rush Show, your source for West Virginia sports. Our preseason basketball series continues with our final assistant, Mr. DaSean Butler. Ryan, I wonder who we'll have tomorrow. But anyway, first, of course, DaSean, thank you so much for coming on. Coach Butler, West Virginia legend. We're so excited to have you.
Appreciate you guys having me on. What's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
How are you doing?
All's well. No complaints as of right now. Mind you, I wouldn't come on the show to complain anyway. So, yeah, all's well.
No doubt, DaSean. Always good to see you. So let's get right into it. Your third stint as a Mountaineer, obviously storied playing career, member of the Final Four team in 2010, the leader of the Final Four team in 2010. You come back for your GA year. I think it was your rehab year, 2012 to 13. You finish overseas, get into the coaching, NBA route, and now you're back as a Mountaineer as an assistant. How has this transition been coming back here for your third stint as a Mountaineer?
It's been actually very eventful. Just I would say eventful is the word. Obviously coming in off of the loss of a really great coach. Obviously, Coach Huggins is a great coach. We all love him. Great dude. And stepping into this staff who literally everybody here I got an opportunity to meet or know personally. You know, I met DJ before and I always watched DJ when I grew up playing. And to be around DeMar is like awesome. And then obviously, you know, me and Alex are teammates. I got a chance to watch Jordan play. And Josh has just been a big brother to me since the moment he stepped foot on campus. I met him my sophomore year. So and we've always kept that relationship and just celebrated one another, whether it be near or far. And, you know, it's always great. Like I said, it's been great being back working with this staff. It's been eventful just because of how everything's been transpiring from the time I stepped foot here till now. So it's like I told you guys before, it's just more or less dealing with adversity, being able to roll with the punches and just being ready to take it a day at a time and pushing through.
Yeah, we were talking to Jordan earlier, and he says, yeah, with all this adversity, everything going on, it puts you in a position of just, you know, you're questioning a lot, right? But then you kind of, you've made it this far in life, and how have you made it this far, DaSean? And you're a very positive person. We've had some great conversations, and that's what you got to do, right? You got to put a positive spin on this. You got to see this as an opportunity as you get started in your coaching career, right? Hey, ideally, things will never be this tough again, right? Once you get through this once, you've done it before, you learned a lot. And, you know, we're at a situation where the heart, you know, what's next is playing in basketball. And that's easy compared to what everything you guys have been through. But also, how is playing here at West Virginia before and playing under Huggins prepare you for what you're going through right now?
Well, in general, I mean, just in life, like adversity comes. And to your point, like you just made, just being able to put a positive spin on it. It's easy to just accept and play victim. It's easy to have these things happen and quit. I mean, to stop doing anything is very easy. But we have I would say goals we made as a staff. We have goals our players have made, and it's up to us as staff to make sure we hold our players accountable so they can reach their goals and help them achieve their goals and make the best version of themselves. So with that being said, I mean, what's a little adversity? I mean, we got more important things to do, like win basketball games and make our players better.
Yeah, DaSean, let's rewind all the way back to your playing career. Obviously, you played for Hugs from 28 to 2010. You started with John Beilein, so you were in there for that transition year from 07 to 08. And the common theme has always been Hugs. Playing for Hugs always makes you more accountable, and you're prepared for success at the next level. Talk about your 3 years playing for Hugs and how, and Josh was here during that time as well, Coach Harrison, Coach Hahn, Coach Emart. I mean, talk about how that staff prepared you to be able to succeed at the next level, whether it was your playing career or what's going to be a solid coaching career, hopefully for years to come.
I would say that staff, well, working with Beeline was great because I got a chance to learn a lot about basketball and some of the skills and qualities I had. He showed me how to use those skills and qualities within his offense, learn how to play with spacing, learn how to play off of bad cuts, and made me a better shooter. In skill-wise, I always looked at it as basketball rehab, just more or less teaching you every little nuance of the game and how you can use these things to in turn become a better basketball player and a smarter basketball player. And I will say Coach Huggins, when he got here, taught me that I can do anything. I mean, seeing, and this is no knock to any other staff or any other coaches that I've ever had in my life, but seeing that I can skill-wise do a lot of things. I mean, I knew I was skilled, but when push comes to shove, who was I? And I had no idea. I didn't know. I never fought through anything as tough as going through Coach Huggins' practices day to day. And it was the hardest thing I ever dealt with. And just being in the weight room all the time was just such a difficult thing for me. And you add all those things together with class and then just my life in general and how I had a terrible case of procrastination and being young. That's all these things and being not so far away from home, but being far away from home for the first time. Like all those things it just weighs on you. And Coach Huggins did a really good job with making me believe that I can do anything.
Yeah.
And you get that in a weird way because, he's always on you. He's on top. He's talking to you, excuse my language. He's yelling at you. He's demanding a lot out of you as far as the accountability and just being able to be trustworthy to your team, to the staff, and just being a good teammate and just doing right and doing what you say you were going to do. Even after, you don't feel the way you felt when you first said it, you say you want to do something and that moment passed and those feelings pass in a month or 2 months. Do you still mean you want to do these things? And just continuing to keep that same energy. And I felt that after playing for Coach Huggins and I got to my senior year, I mean, I just felt like there was nothing I couldn't do because of that toughness and building that accountability to me and instilling just hard work and just being able to go through something I had never been able to go through before. It just opened my eyes to what kind of person and what kind of player I could potentially be. So
that's incredible, DaSean. And you alluded to Huggs building such a strong foundation. He obviously was part of getting the practice facility here and having these state-of-the-art facilities and coaching development and player development, and not only player development in terms of X's and O's, but everything you just talked about, player development and who am I in this game of life? Like not only the game of basketball, but this game of life. How can you take all that's been here this past 15 years, your third stint here, and build on what's already been established here at West Virginia?
Well, those are things, like I said, those things are stuff I took with me from once I left West Virginia and traveled and been all over the place and all over the world to like right now where, I mean, it's just a different role in what I'm doing. Being a coach for 3 years, you're going to run into difficult tasks and it's easy to, yeah, that was tough and just, I can't do it. I can't do those things anymore. You don't have a job if you do. So, I mean, I have some incentive in that as well. But at the same time, what's instilled is, not being a quitter, not letting your teammates or your staff down or the players down, being accountable and being a man of your word. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. And I mean, how I can do that here is teaching those guys the same things I was taught, letting them know, we're going to try to hold you accountable. And when we try to hold you accountable, don't take it personal. It's about building better habits for the future as a player and then just building better habits as men. I mean, you got to be the kind of guy that's going to do what he says he's going to do. You have to be the kind of guy that's got to be trustworthy, where if something's wrong, people know that you have their back. And if you make a mistake, you know that you can trust the guy that's next to you as well. Like all these things, like working together, like working well with others. All these things are important in our life where we leave, regardless if we play sports, regardless of where we go. Like when you go to work for somebody or have a job or start your business, the people that you want around you, all that stuff's important. And if I can help and instill one of the things that Coach Huggins was able to teach me to a player this year, I'll be happy.
DaSean, you mentioned it, like you played with Alex, who's now an assistant with you. And one of the coolest things about that building is what happens in the summers where guys come back from their overseas careers. You played with KJ, obviously, John Flowers. Everybody's got a locker down there in that alumni locker room / coach's locker room. Talk about, I mean, just from you, from the rehab standpoint, being able to work with Doc Metter or in the weight room with Andy Kettler and Sean Brown. Talk about how much that impacts this program in the offseason from a player development standpoint of having pros in that building to show some of these guys that, hey, yeah, you think you're going to be a pro? Well, this is how a pro trains. So just speak about how special those summers are here in Morgantown.
The summers are very special to that point. You know, you get an opportunity to have guys that are attending the university and they're on our team, and they get a chance to see Eric Stevenson work out. They get a chance to see John Flowers and those guys who were still active at the time work out, or Tariq Phillip, or JC, who comes back from time to time, or Deuce McBride, who was there a lot this summer, or Gabe. Like, there's tons of players that come back, and just having that presence of our former players being back, especially because they can show these guys, whether they talk to them or not. Some guys are a little bit more vocal than others, as you already know, Mac. Like, some people will be more willing to give game than the other guys. They probably won't talk as much, but you can see their work ethic and see what they do every day. And the players that we have here respect that as well. So that's a good thing for them to see it first, like, you know, at firsthand, watch these guys, have those guys participate like in maybe an open gym from time to time if they can, or if the players can potentially jump in one of their open gyms or their workouts. Like, that's awesome to have if if possible. But then what really makes it cool is that, you know, a lot of these schools that people refer to as blue bloods, they're able to like talk about their brotherhoods that they've had. And that's a great thing for our alumni to be able to come back here, guys that are continuing to play. And so I always commend the university for allowing that to happen. The university allows us to have our guys, our former players, our alumni come back who still play, come back here and feel like they have another home, you know, a second home. And then West Virginia is still their home. It doesn't just stop after you graduate. So it's almost like a win-win for everybody involved. It's great for university. It's great for our players that are playing here still. And it's great for our alumni because we get them to come back and we welcome them with open arms, and it's always love. And we can build our brotherhood the same way.
Yep. Obviously, you were a player here at West Virginia, and of course, now you're in the coaching industry, DaSean. Talk about a little bit about that transition, right? Is kind of thinking like a player where you want to go out on every play and do what you got to do and score every bucket and make every stop. Whereas, you know, from the coach's standpoint, of course, you want those things to happen, but you're more thinking of the game as a whole and like, hey, look, we can maybe save ourselves a little bit here because we're going to need that later. What was that transition like for you? Kind of having the player's mind to now having like the coach's mind.
Well, I would just say initially my very first year into it, it was more of just trying to learn how to articulate what I wanted the players to do. Cause I can talk like a player, but I can't talk like a player.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to articulate certain things a certain way because everybody learns differently. When everybody's not Alex or Ruoff, or everybody's not Jordan McCabe, and those guys are two different people as well. So the way I relay information to them is separate, and the same thing as our players. Like, I can't talk to our players a certain way like I would talk to like my best friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then maybe a player is like a really good friend of mine, so I can relay information to him differently. It just depends on the person, and that was one of the deals I had to learn is how to manage people. That was probably the toughest thing for me to learn how to manage personalities as a coach, not manage personalities as a player. And I realized, I mean, damn, it's the same thing. I mean, you're managing personalities. is the exact same thing when I play versus when I'm not playing and I'm a coach. Now it's just a matter of how I articulate that. And that was, like I said, the most difficult thing for me. And to this point now, it's still something you learn. You have to continue to learn because you think you know how to manage personalities and articulate certain things to people. And then you run into a new player that just makes everything a little bit more difficult than the last 3 years that you've ever seen. So it's just always something new and it's always something challenging, but it's a great thing because I embrace the challenge and it's just something else that gives me the opportunity to get better. Because then now once I know how to talk to a certain style of person, then that's there. And then now I'll meet new people that'll be those people too. So it's just more or less it's an everyday deal of learning, I would say.
That's coaching. Just when you thought you got it figured out, there's something new that comes.
Something new. It's right around the corner every time.
And speaking of coaching, let's talk about your boss, man. Obviously, he's one of my really good friends. I view him as one of the best dudes I've ever been around. Rush has gotten to know him.
Without a doubt.
Josh is awesome.
Yeah, and obviously you would not have taken this job coming over from the NBA if you didn't believe in Josh. Yeah. Just talk about as the Mountaineer Nation is getting to know Josh a little bit more as we play some games. What are we getting with Josh? Obviously we know, but tell Mountaineer Nation what we're getting with Josh Eilert at the head of this program.
I would say you're getting somebody that, if I'm talking from my personal experience, somebody I trust more than anybody. Someone who's intentional with what he does. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. I can rely on him. I know he has my best interest at heart, and I know he has the player's best interest at heart. This is just, at the end of the day, we're talking about somebody I look to as a friend, as a brother of mine. When I had good things happening in my life, he was one of the first people that shot me text messages and called me and congratulated me, and it had nothing to do with him. It was just him being a good guy. It's somebody that hits me up on Father's Day, hits me up on my son's birthday and my daughter's birthday. Like, he's somebody I really look to as, a big friend, a mentor, and just he's great for our players. And he brings us those same qualities to our players and to our team, which is why our players came to our AD and requested Josh. Josh is someone that everybody in this building recognizes how dependable he is and how much the game means to him and how much this university means to him and this team. And you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to see why Ren picked him. No one in this building has had more jobs than Josh. He knows everything from the top to the bottom. He can do everybody's job here with ease, with his eyes closed. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to trust my team or my players or my son if my kids were in college with anybody else than my guy, Josh Eilert. He's amazing. And that's why I'm here. I put whatever I needed to put on hold because this is a great opportunity to work with somebody who I look to as a great mentor and a great friend and somebody that looks and has my best interest at heart at all times.
That's great, DaSean. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate that. Another question I have for you is I've been asking all the assistant coaches if you had a message for Mountaineer Nation, for this fan base about this team in this upcoming season, what would your message be?
You guys will be happy with our resolve. We have guys that really want to do well, and they want to be good, and they want to do well for Mountaineer Nation. Obviously for themselves, they're very good players, but they want to do good for this university and for this team. You'll be impressed with our guys' resolve and how much fight they do have to them. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give too much of anything, but that's what I'm impressed about our guys. Like, they find a way to get the things you need them to do done. So hopefully they can keep that going and they don't make me look crazy for saying that right now.
No, I can sense it from all you guys talking. We're behind this team. One light note question, DaSean. Right now we're playing staff versus players. Right now you guys are down one. Sideline out of bounds. If we run UCLA, just like we did at the Garden against Georgetown, get you the ball at the top of the key, you're getting to your spot and find a way to get the ball in the hole for the win, aren't you?
I'm hurling that thing up. I could care less. unless Coach draws a play up, I'm hurling that thing up. Coach is the only person that's stopping me from cheering.
No doubt.
That's awesome. DaSean, thank you so much for coming on. We know you're busy. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Thank you. Good luck this season.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, and hopefully I get a chance to come back on. I'm excited to do another one of these.
Yeah, we'll do a life story. This after the season. We'll do it.
Great.
The Butler did it. Later, man. Go Mountaineers.